Welcome back. While many of us are struggling to keep a roof over our heads, some people are losing the battle. It seems an indictment on our supposedly fortunate country, but the sad reality is that many Australians still find themselves homeless. Shaima Al-Kashiri reports.
With cost of living prices rapidly increasing, homelessness continues to be on the rise, leaving hundreds with no choice but to live on the streets and in homeless shelters.
In recent years, the federal government provided us with a strategy for reducing homelessness. It's really called on the states to come up with an action plan for achieving the targets that it set forward. We have a strategy in Victoria. However, our new government is in the process of reviewing that strategy and figuring out what they'll do with that strategy by working with the sector. So we're really calling on the Victorian government to deliver an action plan.
The Big Issue is one of the major employers of homeless people in Australia. Half of the $5 cover price goes to the vendor, which gives homeless people the opportunity to work for their money.
What we're trying to do is to give the people who sell the magazines income. We're trying to boost their self-esteem. We're giving them a sense of purpose, and just in the environment here, we're giving them somewhere they can drop in.
Living on my dad's couch and on my friend's couches for my dad's couch 3 or 4 years before I can even get anywhere.
Although there are numerous organisations that try to help, homeless people are still seen on our streets, which leaves many to believe that current strategies are not working.
The system breeds homeless.
The government or somebody to understand that we need more funding, more housing for the homeless. Really, we need more. It's a lot of places out there, it's vacant through the Ministry of Housing, and they're not letting them out for the homeless. And I think that is wrong.
With the growing numbers and no real solution in sight, the pressure is now on policymakers on all levels to support and house those in need. Shaima Al-Shakshia, Newsline.
Thanks, Shaima. And now it's time for business news with Sumisha Naidu. And Sumisha, BHP has found itself in hot water in the US for utilising the controversial method of hydraulic fracturing or fracking to extract valuable shale gas. Sumisha, what's the latest on that?
Well, BHP Billiton is facing multiple class action suits from landowners in Arkansas as they claim that fracking by BHP is causing earthquakes, poisoning their water sources and polluting the soil and air in the area. Now, this should raise some concerns over here in Australia, as fracking has been used to extract coal seam gas for several years, with over 3,000 wells already drilled in southeast Queensland. But what's all the fuss about? What exactly is fracking? Let's take a look at this clip from the documentary Gaslands and find out.
The method of gas drilling they use is called hydraulic fracturing. The method of gas drilling they use is called It blasts a mix of water and chemicals 8,000 feet into the ground. The fracking itself is like a mini earthquake. The intense pressure breaks apart the rock and frees up the gas.
Like the landowners in Arkansas, farmers in Queensland have also expressed concern about fracking taking place near their farms. They too have begun to see the impacts, as shown on ABC's Four Corners.
What really worries him is the accelerated drop in his water table since the companies arrived. At this one, the level has fallen 10 metres, though the gas companies dispute his findings.
It continues to decline at the rate we are. We've probably only got 2 to 3 years of water left here, so it's 2 to 3 pretty scary.
2 out of 3 QGC wells are leaking. They told the company back in 2006, but it wasn't properly fixed.
Apologies for the audio on that. Politicians, environmental advocates and farmers have all formed an unlikely alliance over fracking.
The issue's been taken up by federal politicians. The
environmental expert advising us saying that water tables may drop by more than 15 metres.
And it's even brought farmers and green groups together.
Sometimes these issues make strange bedfellows, but the reality is we'll accept and welcome anyone who's looking at the same agenda as we are, and that is one of sustainable land management practice.
I think we've got common interest here. What we've got at stake is the preservation of good agricultural land, of our underground water systems, which are in dire peril.
Despite concerns from the public and environmental groups, fracking in Australia may continue to be encouraged, especially following a report released last month by the US Energy Information Administration that reveals that Australia is sitting on the world's fifth biggest reserve of shale gas, a gas popularly extracted using fracking. Gas giant Santos, for example, has already stated that they may be using fracking to mine for shale gas in the Cooper Basin on the South Australia-Queensland border next month. This is in line with many big corporations' views that gas extraction through fracking is really not that problematic.
Held view, and also that of IOGCC, that the subject of hydraulic fracturing is adequately regulated by the states and needs no further study.
Well, the future of fracking in Australia is uncertain, but with the trouble BHP is in right now, there may be a need for further discussion about the use of this method to extract natural gas.
Thanks, Samisha. Still to come on Newsline, sport and weather, and we ask whether Australians will ever recognise the value of being bilingual. Welcome back. In 2007, the Howard government's changes to English skills requirements for new migrants sparked debate about language diversity in Australia. 4 years on, I've taken a look at how migrants still struggle in a nation that is predominantly monolingual.
English is fast becoming the world's lingua franca, but it's often argued that this is making English speakers complacent when it comes to learning other languages.
Bridget Lambert and Angela Restuccia Caffarella are two of the founders of the Languages Action Alliance, which pushes for more opportunities for second language learning in Australia. They say this is an area in which Australians are still behind, despite compulsory language classes coming into primary schools back in the 80s.
At that time, Australia was ahead of other places in that regard, of other English-speaking countries of other places in that regard. But then Lots of things happened under different governments, especially those who no longer wanted to hear the word multiculturalism. And multiculturalism goes with multilingualism, and multiculturalism goes with multilingualism.
But it's not all bad. With an increase in migration, but it's not all Australia bad. Has become a much more linguistically diverse place than it was 40 or 50 years ago.
There is a shift in attitude. I remember when we first came out, my family and I, to maintain your first language wasn't quite encouraged. But now I think you'll find many people who come out are maintaining their first language. Because I think people see the benefit.
How do you say duck in Mandarin? Yards. How do you say duck in Mandarin? Yards.
You can bring together people under the umbrella of one language, but it doesn't mean it's the best or the only one. It has, throughout history, there have been other lingua francas, other languages that in an area were the overarching language, but the different cultural groups kept their language. But it's very important. It's very intrinsic to identity. It's very important. And so it's okay, learn English by all means, but don't be of the mindset that we only need English.
Migrants arriving in Australia are provided with 510 hours of English classes. ESL teacher Kate Taylor says moving to a new country is difficult and people shouldn't expect migrants to speak fluent English on arrival.
Well, on arrival, just general settlement issues like housing, employment, of course. So the language barrier is employment, of course, the main issue for them.
But what about languages that were being spoken in Australia long before English? Languages that have been around for over 60,000 years.
Lynette Solomon-Dent has been a teacher of Aboriginal languages in the Gippsland region of Victoria for more than 20 years. The region forms part of the Gunai Aboriginal Nation, of which there are 5 named dialects.
So if I was going to say welcome and introduce myself, I would say Womaninji, Ngaju Budgery, Yetul Maktalin, Ngaju Gullamdad, Jetchen, Brakulung Wok. So that means that I welcome you to our country. So that means
when Europeans first arrived in Australia, the Aboriginal population had up to 750 dialects. Today, all but 150 of those have died out, and all but 20 are classified as highly endangered. It's without a doubt that the key to preserving endangered languages is teaching them to the next generation.
Our young people, our Aboriginal kids, are really enthusiastic about learning their own language. I have been driven mostly by them. And then I guess when I had my own children and also then 2 little granddaughters, been the driving force behind getting it into the curriculum.
While English is unlikely to end up on the endangered languages list anytime soon, we might all benefit from embracing other languages as well. Iona Salter, Newsline.
Thanks for that, Iona. Fixed-gear bicycles are among the oldest type of bicycle, and their speed and style have made them increasingly popular. But are they safe? Tom Hall has the story. But are they safe?
Britain's large bicycle community has experienced an influx of new members. Fixed-wheel bicycles, or fixies, although initially designed for track racing, have increasingly been taken out of the velodrome and into the streets.
There's a lot of people riding fixies on the street. There's a lot of people sort of seems like it's grown and grown and grown.
It's a new way of riding.
Sort of seems like it's grown and grown and grown.
It's a new way of riding.
Despite safety concerns surrounding the bikes, riders are drawn to the growing scene for both practical and impractical reasons.
There's an obvious link between riding fixies and riding on the track. There's an obvious link between you see people getting into fixies because they're fashionable.
You can pick your colours, you can pick what colour everything comes in, and what colour kids love everything comes in. And
a lot of people ride fixies because it's badass. Like, it's the same reason an 18-year-old takes up smoking. It's dumb, but it's also kind of dangerous and therefore cool. It's dumb. but it's also
A strong sense of community has developed in the fixie scene, highlighting the underexplored potential that bike culture has for encouraging both individuality and cooperation, centred on a DIY and cooperation.
Well, there's
centred on
like a massive community that's started out of it.
While some question whether bikes represent a serious alternative for private transport, those close to the issue disagree and point to some of the less obvious positive effects this may have in the community.
Good for your health, good for your morale. We at VicPol with our bike patrol members, their morale's fantastic. We're getting paid to exercise. When we attend critical incidents and stuff, we feel a bit more energised and a bit more switched on.
No one's saying that cycling is the right answer for every trip every day. No one's saying that cycling is the right answer for every trip every day. I think we've opened our eyes to the potential cycling holds. I think we've opened our eyes to the potential and cycling holds.
The increasingly diverse roles of bikes in society reflect how we are considering issues of private and public transport. Inclusive and vibrant communities, such as Melbourne's fixie subculture, are just one way people are re-energising simple solutions for modern problems. Tom Hall, Newsline.
Thanks for that, Tom. And now we go to Tamsin Byrne with the latest in sport. And Tamsin, it's the first round of State of Origin tonight in Queensland. So who's your bet to take out the State of Origin tonight in Queensland? So who's your bet?
Well, Maddie, I think most people are tipping the Queensland Maroons to defeat the New South Wales Blue this evening up in Brisbane. It's been a 30-year history of pretty even competition between the two sides, but since 2006, Queensland really has dominated the series, and with a stronger, more experienced team. We really are expecting them to beat the Blues tonight. Queensland often likes to think of itself as the underdog in this competition, and especially this year with all the natural disasters that have happened over the summer, they'll be probably playing up to that, trying to play in memory of the people who've lost their houses and lost their lives in the floods and cyclones. And it's also Captain Darren Lockyer's last State of Origin season this year. He'll be retiring at the end of 2011 after a 15-year stint playing for the Cane Toads. 15-year stint.
And now that the European football season's finished, the Socceroos will be heading home. How are they looking for their upcoming international match heading home? How are they looking
there's
for their
been some talk, Iona, that this is a bit of a B team. We're missing Tim Cahill, Harry Kewell, and Mark Schwarzer, who are three of our big stars, our big guns. But our coach, Holger Osiek, is defending his side, saying that 12 of the guys were part of the team who beat Germany 2-1 last month. So it should be a pretty good match in the next few weeks between Australia and New Zealand in Adelaide, and Australia and Serbia down here in Melbourne at Docklands.
And what's happening with the French Open? Now, are there any Aussies at all still left in the competition?
Yeah, look, we've only got one left. It hasn't been a great showing for the boys this year. Leighton Hewitt was out with an injury before the tournament even started, and Bernard Tomic bowed out last night. You know, he's a young guy, he doesn't have that much experience on clay, so we weren't really expecting that much from him. It'll be interesting to see how he does next year with a bit more experience under his belt. The girls are doing a bit better. Casey Delacroix bowed out, but Sam Souza breezed through the first round. She'll be facing off against 67 seeds Simona Halep tonight in Paris. 67 seeds Simona Halep tonight in Paris.
Tamsin, do you have an update for us on the AFL betting controversy?
Yeah, well, what you're talking about there is these exotic or unusual or novelty bets. We're talking about bets on who the first goal kicker is, or we're talking about bets on who's going to be injured or who's going to be playing in different positions. The boys do like to make a few more interesting bets like that. But critics are saying that that has the potential to affect how a team plays, and there's definitely the potential there for people to maybe throw a match or to play differently. So, you know, the clubs are trying their best to figure out how to deal with this situation. Carlton and Collingwood are saying that they'll be firing any players or officials who make use of inside information like this.
Thanks, Tamsin. And now to today's weather. It's been a cloudy day with isolated showers, with a few more expected this evening. It reached a top of 15 in Melbourne and 14 in Geelong, and it'll be similar tomorrow in both cities, with a maximum of 14 in Melbourne and 15 in Geelong. Friday, cloudy with isolated showers in both cities, 14 degrees in Melbourne and 13 degrees in Geelong. And that's all we have time for on Newsline today. Thanks for watching. And that's all we have time
and I hope you can join us again tomorrow at the same time. Have a great evening. And I hope you can join us again tomorrow at the same time. Have a great evening.